we actually had a resident tell us that it was like the best civic foreplay. And I was like, oh, wow. That's a new
I
one.
didn't know we were going to say the civic foreplay thing.
I was
coming.
you got to take your wins where you can get them, Will.
Absolutely.
Hey, it's a win. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
Welcome to Modern Gov Matters. I'm Sarah Lloyd, and this show is all about honest conversations with local government communicators about what's actually working, what's not, and the stuff that keeps you up at night. Modern Gov Matters is presented by Civil, powered by Social News Desk. Today I've got not one, not two, but three guests from Chatham County, Georgia. Catherine Glasby is the Public Information Director, Abigail Murphy is the Assistant Director of Public Information, and Will Peebles is on their communication team. Together, they run communications for 24 county departments, operate a TV station, produce a podcast called The Chat, create animated content for elementary schoolers, and, as Will put it, explain the crunchy concepts of government in a smooth and digestible way. Catherine, Abby, Will, thanks so much for being here. Welcome to Modern Gov Matters.
Well, thank you for having us. This is so exciting. We're so excited to be here today.
Yeah, thank you guys again. And before we dive in, I want to hear a little bit about each of you. So, Catherine, you've been in this business for how long now? And how did you end up leading communications for an entire county?
I've been in this space about 21 years. Doing communications, kind of fell into it. Actually have a degree in criminal justice. Started working with a nonprofit program that was a part of the city of Savannah in their police department, and I was doing their communications. Met the communications director over here at Chatham County. He became a mentor. And 6 weeks after I got here, I inherited the position, and I was like, oh, okay. And we were a much smaller county then as far as our departments, and we really have grown a lot.
Abby, you described yourself as the person who strategizes educational campaigns and makes the creative assets, everything from signage to motion graphics to billboards. So how did you get into this work?
I did start out studying art initially in college, and then I switched over to biology to pursue a career in marine biology. And then I got a job with the Chatham County Recycling Center as the education and outreach coordinator, and got to work with Catherine some. Then she asked me to apply to a job opening when she had one in her department. So it was all kind of a roundabout way. I ended up studying art and then kind of came back to it after many years.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have those skills in your pocket. And it's really cool that you got to put together the communication aspect with the art aspect from your background. So that's really neat. And Will, as I mentioned in the intro, you said that you explain the crunchy concepts of government in a smooth and digestible way, typically through video content. And I love that. So what is your background?
The background of that answer was that I had peanut butter yesterday, and we were talking about crunchy versus smooth peanut butter, and I guess that stuck in my head. So in college, initially, my plan was to be a music teacher, and I was pursuing a choral music education degree from Georgia Southern. Then I moved over to journalism. Graduated with that degree, and I worked for Savannah Morning News, one of the local papers here in town, for 7 years. And then I left that job, jumped into the reporter to public information pipeline, and it spit me out at Live Oak Public Libraries. I love my little library job. And then Catherine came along and said, hey, Will, I need you. And the price was right. I've been here almost 2 years, still pretty new to the game, but as you have learned already in this podcast, I've got great mentors and great people to ask about when I am throwing my hands up in the air worried. The crunchy concepts thing, I don't know, that's something I've always kind of strived to do. There is always something that is difficult that needs explaining, especially in local government. So we started a whole series on it, but I'm sure we'll get to all that. But
I love the peanut butter analogy. And, I was actually thinking more along the lines of like granola or salad, like the healthy things that we need.
Yeah.
That we don't always want to ingest, but they're really good for us.
I love metaphors too much. We aim to be the delicious Greek yogurt that you put your granola into,
So, yeah, let's get into how you guys are producing your own content. Y'all are making Government 101, Chatty Chatham, which is an animated series for second and third graders. So, Catherine, can you tell me a little bit about those?
Sure. They all came from a meeting that we had here in my office, and we were trying to figure out how to reach our younger generations. So we were kind of brainstorming some of those ideas, and Gov 101 came up first. I think it was actually Will. He was like, you need to just let me do a YouTube style video that, in 6 minutes or under kind of explains a crunchy concept and makes it easy for people to digest. And I was like, I don't know about this. And he said, let me just film one. And I was like, all right, just film one. In that same conversation, Evan King, who works in our department, said, well, they don't really teach civics anymore. So people don't know coming up what government does. And I said, you're right. And so we came up with this concept because Evan is an animator by trade. He was like, let's do an animated series. And I was like, okay, tell me more. So he storyboarded it out. He came up with all these great concepts. He actually recorded the script. And I was like, where did you get all these people to record this? I mean, you didn't ask any of us. And he was like, it's all me. He's like, it's just the way you do the production. I was like, holy crap. Okay.
That's amazing.
So then I was like, but we got to make sure that all of this fits in with a certain educational component because we want to be able to push this to our homeschoolers and to our school systems. And so we happen to have a friend here at the county whose daughter is a curriculum specialist for a school. So she came in and she evaluated it and she helped us to change some of the programming just a little bit using the right words and the right concepts that we hit second and third grade level. So we launched it last year. We actually had a big rollout for it at a movie in the park night that our Parks and Recreation sponsors. And it was the short before the Disney movie that they
Nice.
showed. And kids loved it. And what we're finding too is that their parents are loving it. Their older siblings are loving it. We've only done one so far, and it was on zoning, but we've got our second one coming out this spring on hurricane preparedness. Both of them are amazing concepts for us, and really have taken off. When we launched Gov 101, we actually had a resident tell us that it was like the best civic foreplay, and I was like, oh wow. That's a new one for
To say the civic foreplay thing.
I knew
yeah,
what was
well,
coming.
you gotta take your wins where you could get them, Will. You gotta
Absolutely.
Hey,
take
it's a
your wins.
win. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
I won some 3C base swag as a result of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, it is resonating with our residents like that they're going, hey, this is some of the best way that we've seen government explained. You're taking something that's a hard concept, like our taxes or elections, or we have something here called a Stevens Day exemption, which is a property tax exemption. And you're breaking that down so that your residents actually understand what their government is doing for them. That's a win all day long.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
day long.
totally. I saw the Stevens Day exemption video, and Will, that was your video. And tell me a little bit about what it's like explaining those crunchy government concepts in a YouTube style.
So I do consume a lot of YouTube, and typically Occam's razor kind of rules on YouTube. If you can look at a camera and say something, and it is something that people want to watch, it will be successful. Or if it's information that people want. And I knew it was the first of the year with Stevens Day, and that a lot of people, including myself, would be looking into doing it. Like that was kind of my intention of putting it out there. It's easy to get bogged down in all the details, and I think that this just kind of skips straight to the point, and it's just like, hey, here's what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm talking about it. All right, see you later. And it's just open and shut. It's not a big production. It's just we flip the camera on, we go. I give it to Evan. He puts the graphics on it, and it's done in a couple days usually. If you can just hone it in, I don't know. It's easier to understand than a lot of people realize.
Yeah,
And
yeah, for
that's
sure.
really
And I did notice, you broke it down in a way that kind of made it feel like what's in it for me? Like how does this
yeah.
apply to me?
Because like I said, that's the information that you're coming to it for. And if you can set up that kind of watering hole of information, then people are going to keep coming, or
Yeah.
at least that's what we hope.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Abby, you worked on a traffic safety campaign with engineering that used humor, and Catherine mentioned some signs in particular. So, tell me a little bit about that project.
Yeah, so engineering reached out to me a few weeks ago, and they were wanting to have some signs available for certain neighborhoods that they don't necessarily need speed bumps, but there needs to be a reminder that, hey, this is the speed limit. And for it to be in a way that's like eye-catching. They referenced something that Seattle did that said slow the flock down, and it had birds. And so they were like, have fun with it. So we did. We were just around here in our department, we love puns. So we were trying to come up with all sorts of stuff. So we did everything from just like kind of a little silly snail to slow your bass down, because the freshwater bass is the state fish of Georgia. So it's educational. And then
I love that we have the receipt, and that is the state
yeah,
fish.
yeah, it's educational. And also slow your peach down, because we're the peach state, but it also means something else. So we had a lot of fun with that, and it was well received. And it definitely, like, I was like, this is really getting me amped up, because I just love combining education and like humor and silliness. It's really just, it makes me so happy. So it's like, I've been floating on a cloud since we've been doing this project.
That's awesome. And it makes it so memorable for people too. If you just have a sign that says slow,
Yeah.
That's just noise as you're driving down the street.
Mhm.
But if you can catch someone's eye with a little joke or a pun or something, that makes it stick so much more and makes it so much more effective. Yeah. So,
Absolutely. We've tried to use humor quite a bit in some of our videos. We did one right at the beginning of COVID, and I have to brag on my team because they are so good. I literally left them to go to a meeting, and this was like maybe like day 2 of our activation for COVID. So it was March of 2020. And I said, y'all, we got to get a message out there that people have to be at a social distance of so many feet apart. And this was even before all the masks and everything. And I came back and they had already filmed it and edited it. And they were putting it to music, and it was great. It was, here in our building, it was our coworkers, and Abby was the, I'm going to say, the host of the video. She was the one that was being the hypochondriac, and she was like actually had a tape measure and was measuring how far people could be from her to keep her safe. And it was a great video. And we did another one a couple years later that was about tip and toss. We have mosquitoes here. We could not live if we did not have mosquito control.
Shout out mosquito
But
control.
but it's one of those things where we need people to throw out standing water in their yard. And Abby and one of our other staff members went to her backyard, and they created this great video of her karate chopping all these different pots and play stands and stuff like that. And it was a great educational message, but it made you laugh while you were watching it. And I think that's a great way to really resonate our message with our residents. If they can laugh about something, they're more likely to remember.
it sounds like you guys have a really deep bench and, making use of the skills that everyone has brought from their diverse backgrounds. That's the dream, right? Is,
Right.
helping everyone work and feel fulfilled, but putting out a really great product that elevates what you guys are doing and really communicates with the public and gets the public kind of on your side as well. Abby, you mentioned collaborating with engineering on this traffic signs. Tell me what it's like working across departments like that.
Well, I feel like it's seamless. Like, what we just, someone will reach out to us from a different department, ask if we can help out. And we're like, absolutely. Or we'll reach out to them like, hey, I know in this case, we know you have this award. Do you mind if we do all this? It's, to me, there's never any friction. It's just super easy. We all collaborate really well together. And I think it's because we all know we have the same ultimate goal, and that's just to help our residents and to let them know what we're doing. So I really love all of the relationships that we've built across different departments.
Yeah, and not for nothing. I mean, there are definitely municipalities out there where the communications department has to really fight with other departments to have them be heard. It's like we're trying to tell your story. Help us help you, basically. So it's great that you guys have built those relationships.
Yeah. I think they know that we really are we're trying to help them. So,
Yeah, they're all on the same team.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So team Chatham County, it is lightning round time. So I want some quick answers from all three of you. First up, your favorite local spot in Chatham County. I'm going to start with Catherine.
Hands down, my favorite place is the Mighty Eighth Museum. Love history, love World War II, and it's a very peaceful place to be.
Amazing. And Abby, how about you?
So I have a 7-year-old daughter. So often my favorite places involve being able to take her somewhere and us both enjoying it. And there is a cafe called Henny Penny, which combines doing arts and crafts for kids. And you can also do it too, but there's also coffee. So I really love going there. And it's also a great place for a play date. So that tends to be a top place for us to be.
Yeah, what a great combo. And Will, how about you?
I'm also going to go with coffee. I love Perk Coffee very much. I actually brought my sticker Perk up today. They're a local coffee roaster, and I used to live right down the road from them. I no longer live right down the road from them, but I still go a lot, and I love them so much. So shout out Perk.
All right. So, next question. What's the most underrated part of your community, Catherine?
I think it's the diversity of our community in and of itself. We have a lot of diversity within the ethnic groups here. So we have, just to give you an example, top five languages. Of course, English, Spanish, Korean, Vietnamese, and Mandarin Chinese. But we have a very large Jewish community here. We have a very large Muslim community here. We have a very large Greek Orthodox community here. So when you're thinking about all of those different things and how they play together and how they play into what we do in government and communications, I think it's underrated for our government to really play into the strengths of that melting pot. I think we're doing a little bit better with that through economics, but it's still something that we don't do enough of.
Yeah. Abby, how about you? What's the most underrated part of the community for you?
Well, Catherine, you got very deep. I was thinking physical
Yeah,
location.
that's not what I do.
So that's what I'm going with. So there is a relatively recent new playground that Chatham County Parks and Recreation finished at Ambrook Park. And it's a great location because it's right smack dab in the middle between all of these baseball fields, soccer fields, the aquatic center, a huge park like Mare. And it's a playground for kids of all abilities. And I don't think it's underrated. I just think not as many people know about it. And so I'll tell a lot of people about it. My daughter loves going there, but I see more and more kids using it. So I think it's getting out into the community that's there. But I really do love that new playground that they built.
And Will, how about you?
When Catherine was answering, I was like, dang, man, I misunderstood this one, I think.
Maybe I misunderstood it.
Course, diversity, but also I really like the walking trails. We got some good ones out here. There's a lot that just run right up alongside the marsh or up alongside like sometimes like rivers, maritime forest. Like I don't know, it's very cool, and I think it's secretly like one of my favorite things here because we can just go and just meander, and it's like oh yeah, I was in a city, a metro area 5 minutes ago, but now I am in the woods and I cannot hear anything but the birds. So.
It's true.
Yeah, big shout out to Moon River Trail at Downing Pierce out on Skittle.
All right. So, my last question in one sentence. What's your one piece of advice for someone just starting out in government communications? Catherine, how about you?
Don't give up. It's hard, but it will get easier.
All right. Abby, how about you?
Join organizations like 3CMA to see what others are doing and build your own community.
All right. And Will?
Find someone who knows more than you and attach yourself at the hip.
All right. That is all great advice. So, Catherine, Abby, Will, thank you all so much for being on Modern Gov Matters. This was such a fun conversation. I wish I had, 2 more hours to talk to you guys. And I hopefully will run into you at some conferences this year so we can catch up in person.
Hope so.
Modern Gov Matters is presented by Civol, powered by Social News Desk. If you found this episode helpful or interesting, please share it. And for more episodes, visit moderngovmatters.com. I'm Sarah Lloyd, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.